Hello, hello there, my crafty friends. It is Candy here from SweetStamper.com, and it is time for Simple and Stepped Up. Every Thursday, I come to you here on Facebook Live, which I also download and, I upload. It's recorded, and I upload into YouTube. So if you're watching the replay, I would love for you to comment in Facebook. And if you're watching the recording on YouTube, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So every Thursday I come to you and I bring you Simple Stamping. Simple Stamping gets down to the basics of stamps, ink, and paper. And then we step it up a little bit. And this is actually born out of something that Stampin' Up! Does. And that is they give us a challenge each month with hashtag Simple Stamping and a few little parameters that go with it. So I like to tap into challenges. And I'm actually going to do 2 challenges at once today. So I will get into that. Let me see. Once again, I'm not getting comments in Facebook. Oh, well, here we go. I'm going to actually show you 2 stamp sets I'm going to be using today, both in our mini book. You know, the mini catalog goes all the way through the end of June, so don't forget about that, in the middle of new catalog frenzy. This stamp set is called Wildflower Path. It is on page 21 of the mini catalog, and this is going to be in our main new annual catalog, which debuts on May the 3rd. So both of the stamp sets I'm using today are in this book, but they will be in our new annual catalog. So I'm using this Wildflower Path, and then I'm also going to use an All Greetings stamp set that I think you're going to love, and it's called Celebrating You. It is on page 65 of the mini catalog, and it has some excellent greetings. So we have Mother's Day coming up, we have Father's Day coming up, so this was kind of where I'm tying into a team challenge. Each month on my Facebook page for my Southern Sweet Stampers, which is my Stampin' Up! Group of demonstrators, we do several creative challenges, and we are doing one right now called Celebrate Women. And so Mother's Day is a great way to celebrate women, and my mother is passed away for quite a few years, as is my mother-in-law. But I have a daughter and a daughter-in-law, so I figured, okay, let's get this going here. Now, you'll notice I'm going to be using some of our new in colors. So this is Sweet Sorbet, and it is a really, really pretty red. And I'm also going to be using Parakeet Party, and I've got several other colors. So let me get going here. We are going to do a landscape card. I'm using my trusty piercing mat. So if you're a new stamper, this is both of these are great stamp sets for new stampers. And the piercing mat is definitely something that every stamper needs, because when you stamp with our photopolymer stamp sets, you need that extra cushion under you to get a really good transfer of your ink to your paper. Now I have all of these stamps mounted, so we're going to create a lovely scene, and I'm going to start with this really cool grass image, and I'm going to ink it up in the new Parakeet Party. Now I have strategically done something a little bit different here, and that is I'm using Very Vanilla. If you ever want to kind of soften a project, Very Vanilla will bring it down just a little bit and just kind of make it softer. And I'm thinking of a Mother's Day card. I want it to be a little bit softer. Now I'm going to go all the way across the bottom, and I'm going to purposely bring this a little bit underneath my cardstock. Now this is a 4-inch by 5 1/4 inch, what we would oftentimes call a panel, because this is going to be layered onto a regular size card base. Now, I'm going to do 2 at once because I'm going to do a simple and then a stepped up. So I'm creating grass all the way across the bottom, and when I'm done with this, I'm actually going to flip my little mat over, and I'll tell you why. I don't have any paper underneath here. And that means I'm going to have a wee little bit of ink right along here. And I don't want that being transferred to anything inadvertently. You know, you get something all ready to go and then, yeah, you have mishaps. And actually, I'm not going to move it yet. I'm going to actually go ahead and put in, well, let's put the greeting in next and then build the flowers around that. Okay, so there's my grass, and that is the Parakeet Party on Very Vanilla. So the Parakeet Party is quite bright and light, but I wanted to have a little bit of a softer look, and that's why I've used the Very Vanilla. Now on one of these, I'm going to stamp it directly here, and on the other one, I'm actually going to use a piece of cardstock. So, Lord have mercy, look at there. I guess I'm going to be putting that on cardstock on both of them. That looks like it needs to be re-inked. So let's try it on, this is Calypso Coral. Let's see what happens here. Oh, that looks like a very dry stamp pad. Let's see. That is a very dry stamp pad. Okay, hold on just a moment because we're going to do a little lesson here. So, Mossy Meadow is actually one of our neutral inks, and so I will show you the way I like to re-ink my pads. So I am going to just take this re-inker and I'm going to go all the way across here like this. And then I'm going to also go in the other direction like this. And this is something we all have to learn to do, you know. And I know that some people will use a spoon to kind of press that ink in. For me, I'm like, who has time to find a spoon? So I just take the tip, I'm not squeezing it at all, and I'm just lightly, I'm not pressing at all, I'm just lightly pressing, well, I say lightly pressing, lightly touching my ink pad, and that is going to bring that ink right into my foam pad. Now, when you have just re-inked a pad, I would prefer to wait a few minutes before I start stamping with it. So I think, yeah, let's just go ahead and go with it. Let's ink this up and see where we go. Let's see, because we have more. And this is Calypso Coral, and I'm stamping with Mossy Meadow. So let's see how we get on. Oh, that's coming out really nicely, having said that that is, you know, fresh ink. So I'm going to do the direct to my layer with this one here, and I'll cover up the other one that kind of became a mishap. Woo, perfect. See that, how nice that is? Okay, so while I have that out, let's go ahead and stamp our stems. Now you have 2 sets of stems and 2 sets of flowers to add to the stems. Then you also have some singles, but I'm going to go ahead and just vary these a little bit. And these are just, we're just creating a little scene of flowers. Now I'm going to add flowers to the end. So let's see if I bring that about like so. And again, this is Mossy Meadow that I'm pairing with Parakeet Party. These are what I call dynamic duos. This is a light and a dark counterpart of one another. And I got that name from something Stampin' Up! Used to do years ago. And I have to confess, I haven't used this stamp set at all. This is all a little project that's been in my head, so we'll see how it comes out. That's just the way I like to roll with this Facebook Live stuff. You know, I've tried preparing in advance and getting my projects all planned out. Yeah, and then I forget what I was supposed to do. So this is what works best for me, is to just do it very organically. And I'm going to actually, I think I might want, yeah, I'm going to do 2 of these the same. And you see how they have, there's like little tiny speckles right around there. Now that is intentional. So they've like added those little dots for you, which is really helpful. And let's see, this one has a thicker leaf, and this one has a finer leaf. So I don't think I can really squeeze another one in there. I think it's going to probably look too crowded if I try to put in one more. Well, you know what? Let's live dangerously. Let's see. Let's do one more there. And we'll hope for the best. I think I kind of like it, you know? Okay, so now on this one, which is going to be our stepped up, let's start this time with the thicker one over here. And then let's go with the thinner leaves over here. And then let's pull it like that. And then let's do a thicker one. I think I'm going to like this layout better. This is what happens when Candy stamps the very first time on camera. But like I said, it just kind of works for me. More often than not, I like the way it turns out. So that's just the way I roll with it. And I have to say, even when I'm like designing for either a card class or just, you know, a card I'm making for a friend or something, usually I'm one time we go, and that's the way we're going to roll with it. I don't edit videos, and I really don't edit cards for the most part, so they need to kind of be good the first time. Now you see, because I'm adding the greeting later, I actually have a little bit more leeway, as it were. Now, as I had said earlier, I am going to flip this over. Now you see where I have this green here? I don't want that coming out anywhere. I can just run that under a water faucet. I can tackle it with a baby wipe. Either of those things is going to work. Now I'm going to bring in Sweet Sorbet for flowers. I'm also going to bring some Calypso Coral in for flowers. So let's see how we get on with this. As I said, I have not yet used these stamps. So this is my first time. And I think when I look at these are going to be the smaller flowers, and these are going to be the larger flowers. And I want the larger flowers to be in this Sweet Sorbet. Sweet Sorbet is really lovely, and it is a little bit lighter than Poppy Parade. So it's definitely an orangey red, and these are going to go right on top of, look at there, right on top of this thicker, let's see, is Candy going to make a total mess here? I don't think so. Right on top of that thicker, I think it's going to be okay. Let's see. That's better. That's much better. I think now I'm on point, but I don't know. We'll see whether we like it or not. Now I'm going to take this thinner, so the fatter flowers go on the thicker stems, and then these thinner flowers, or the thinner stems, have the smaller flowers. So let's see if we can make it all look nice. And if I look, you know, if you're wondering about how to place them, go into your catalog. Do I remember which page it was on? There we go. And you can see in the catalog the way that they're placing them. Definitely better than where I placed mine, but you know. So these are actually going to go down farther, like so. No idea what I'm doing here. Let's see. Oh, I think that's going to be better. I think that's actually supposed to be down like that. Okay. And let's bring it over here as well. Oh yeah, I can kind of see now. So I think it's kind of soft and cute. Definitely needs something else here. Let's see if we can do that. And then, you know what we could do is we could just kind of fill in, but I kind of like it just the way it is. Let's see what happens if I fill in with something like this. Yeah, because it's a field of flowers. I like it. I'm going to kind of fill in with a little bit more. I like it. I hope you do. Okay. This is what happens when Candy stamps live on camera and has not practiced first. I kind of like it though. It's kind of a free-form look, and I like free-form. Okay, so once again, I'm going to take this smaller flower and I'm going on to this thinner stem, and you see how that nestles right in there. So there is a place where that flower is supposed to nestle right into there. And on this thin one too. So you see that's where the first stem that needs a flower is right there. So that's how you know where to line that one up. And then you see how the Calypso Coral is just a shade lighter. I mean, when you look at it when you look at the cardstock, the Calypso Coral and the Sweet Sorbet are a little bit more of a contrast. When you have the inks together, they're a little bit softer contrast. Okay, so I think I'm done with the Calypso Coral. So now let's bring out this Sweet Sorbet and let's get the larger flowers. And these are a little easier, well, I should say easier. They're more obvious to pair up because you can see where that top flower is going to go into that top spot. And then these little guys here are very obviously, you know, stems kind of hanging out in the wind, needing a placement. Well, now let's see. Oh, I see it. There it is. Okay, there we go. There we go. I like it. I like it a lot. And then this one is going to go right like so. And again, this is Sweet Sorbet paired with a little bit of Mossy Meadow Parakeet Party. And we are going to stamp a greeting on the inside as well and maybe put a few more flowers. So let's see what happens when we mount this on a piece of Sweet Sorbet. Now it's coming together. Now it's coming together oh so nicely. Now let me start with my simple one first because I've already have my greeting. I mean, this is Stamped Ink and Paper. There is nothing else here. And I got a little bit, you know, a little bit wild with these flowers, but I think it kind of works. So let's see if we like the way it's worked once we put it down. And we are going to stamp something on the inside because there's some really pretty greetings with this stamp set. And I'm going to put one of them on the inside. So this month, our hashtag Simple Stamping Challenge is Stamps Ink Paper and something and new. Celebrate the new. So that could be like a new baby. Well, I'm celebrating new in colors here. And you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to fill in some of these little spots here with some Parakeet Party and stems because I think it's going to work. Let's see. Let's clean this. This is my thinner one. Let me grab a chamois and let's just fill in with a couple, because I added a few more flowers in there and they're kind of hanging out in the breeze with no stem. And I do like freeform, but I kind of draw the lines to a degree. No pun intended about drawing the lines. Let me grab a piece of, let's see, what I need. My trusty Drury Inn scrap paper. This is where I host my crafting retreats, and I love their little scratch pads are like the perfect size. Okay, let's see. Would that go? That's where it goes, right there. So that is going to go right like so. And then it's going to go right into, oh yeah, see, I like that. I like that. We'll put a few of these lighter green That goes right into there. So we have these softer green stems, and I think that's looking very nice. This one we're just going to kind of freeform it because it's kind of that way. I think it's super cute. Love, love, love the color combo. Okay, let's see. So Marsha's liking the colors, and I apologize, I have not really tapped into comments here because I can't see them. And that needs a flower. Oh, you know what? Haha. Also in the stamp set, which is here, you also have some singles, and that helps you fill in some of those spots. So let me grab this little guy. You know, if I have a stem there with no flower, I mean, it looks like a caterpillar ate the flower right off the stem, but you know, let's not go there with a Mother's Day card. Here's my, this is my Calypso Coral, and I'm going to put that right there. Oh yeah, that looks really good. I like this ability to go back in and capture any of these kind of stray stems that need a little something. Now I chose one of the larger flowers. There's some small ones too, but I'm kind of liking this. Okay. Now I will say I'm going to have to hit that with a little Wink of Stella. That's going to be perfect. And let's get a couple of flowers on the inside. And I mean, this is just stamp, ink, and paper, and we're having fun with it. Let's get an inside by taking this lovely, lovely greeting that I think you're going to love. And I'm going to use, if I can find it, Mossy Meadow. We're going to use a Mossy Meadow to stamp our greeting just like we did on the front. And I think this is great because it says, "My heart is smiling because of you." What a fabulous greeting to put inside a Mother's Day card. And I realize now I'm going without my little pad underneath me, which I can usually get away with on words. Okay, let's bring this like so. And let's see what else is in here. Maybe I will do this little, let's do this little flower here. And let's do it down here. And then, wait, there's more. Let's take, this stamp set is a great stamp set. If you like to put stamps, ink, and paper together and not need a lot of like die cuts and stuff to make it work, this is a really good stamp set. It has really nice greetings. So I'm going to take a couple of these little leaves right here. These are little leaves. I'm going to put a little bit of Parakeet Party right underneath, like so, to give those little flowers a little something, something. And then that is ready to go inside my Mother's Day card. And I'm thinking that's really, really special, really lovely. It will mail really easily for a forever stamp. And I think you could also do some really nice sympathy cards with this. You could do get well cards with this. Any time, you see what I did? That's what you don't do. You don't do what Candy just did, and that is put your paper directly on your light colored cardstock when you have been stamping over there. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, let's just get one of my trusty, should be in here. This is what I should have stopped and done the first time. This is another thing you can do with your little mat, is just to have an alcohol prep pad because these dry very quickly. I will say when you use when you run this under water, it needs to dry. And also when you use a baby wipe, you know, they tend to be a little bit wet. So this dries, because it's alcohol, it dries almost immediately. So that is going to just save my bacon. Okay. Now, one last little touch I'm going to do here is I am going to grab a little Wink of Stella. And we are going to touch these with Wink of Stella. Oh, I love it, love it, love it, love it. It is coming out so pretty. Wait till I show you guys. Hopefully if I angle it just right in the camera, you can catch that little bit of shine. I love these Wink of Stellas. I always feel like it feels like mascara when you hold it. Okay, so that is just a sweet and simple Happy Mother's Day card. Now, let's take our Stepped Up and let's see what we can do to step it up just a little bit. Now, I don't have really any mishaps here, but I am going to take this flower stamp and I am going to fill in. There's a couple of little places, and I do think that this larger flower kind of adds a nice little bit of, what's what I'm looking for? Maybe a little bit of variety. So anywhere there is a blank stem, I am going to fill it in with this flower. And you know, when the flowers kind of touch each other, it's just like they are in nature, so it's good. Okay, so this I'm done with, and oh no, I'm going to put it on the inside. Let's get my inside panel here. And let's get our greeting, which says, "My heart is smiling because of you." What could be better than that? And again, this would be a great greeting on the inside of like a get well card or a thinking of you or a friendship card. I think this stamp set just has a lot of versatility. So that I don't need anymore. Let's clean up as I go a little bit. Okay, now, Sweet Sorbet in this sweet little flower. We're going to go right like this. And then we're going to bring this sweet little flower right down here like so. So now I'm officially done with my sweet little flower. So let's clean that and put it over here. So that's ready to go on the inside. What I need to do is on the outside, I'm going to layer up my greeting. And I'm just going to use a little piece of Calypso Coral cardstock. So I think I'm done with this. Let me go ahead and close up these ink pads. This is kind of dangerous territory for me because when I have open ink pads, yeah, they're kind of just waiting for me to drop something into them like a finished card. I don't know if you guys have that issue as well, but I'm thinking you have probably had the same experience I have, and that is to finish a card and then drop it right into an open ink pad. So again, this is Sweet Sorbet, and that is Parakeet Party, two of our brand new in colors, side by side, nestled up against each other. I really like the way they look together. And that is on a piece of Very Vanilla for a bit of softness. So I've used 4 ink pads, something I, not my typical, not my usual. But let's kind of think outside the box. Okay, so here's my Sweet Sorbet. And let's put that Very Vanilla panel on the inside. And these are, I usually have like a bunch of these Very Vanilla and Basic White panels cut and ready to go. I cut a bunch of them at 5 1/4 by 4. I put them in my little file folder, and then they are ready for things like this. So this, I'm going to go ahead and pop right here. We're going to step this up only a tiny little bit, and I'll show you what I mean by that. We are going to add a little bit, a layer of cardstock. Hey, Diana, I'm glad you are here. Or no, it's Diane. Yes, it's Diane. Welcome, welcome. I know there's some other folks who have gathered since I was able to see comments. Okay, let's get it right side up. Now, this is where I had my stamping mishap with a dry ink pad when we started. So we are just going to cover that up right like so. And where is it? This, I want to tell y'all, is only available for a few days left. Tailored Tag Punch. my all-time favorite punch. It is retiring and it will no longer be available after May the 2nd, or it is available while supplies last. I don't think it's on sale, but it's an incredible punch. It's the one I use constantly for all of my flags. But it also is a great punch for a greeting stamp, and especially when you have any kind of a masculine, or you just want something kind of trim. I mean, it's called tailored, and I think that's a very appropriate name for it. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. I think it's a little bit large for my purpose here, and I don't want it to overpower my little garden. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that in. I can see now where my stamping starts, so I want to bring it back a little bit and then line that up. Boom, I have a perfect flag. So you definitely want this. It's item number 145667. If you don't have this punch, get it while you can. I could not be without mine. Okay, so this is going to go right like so. And I'm not going to pop it up because I'm covering something up and I don't want that showing. Even from the side, I don't want it showing. So let's just go like that. And again, I used Poppy Parade cardstock. Yes, you can make really cool, thank you, Kathy. This makes great quilted cards because you can punch out a whole bunch of designer series paper or cardstock or whatever and nestle them up against each other quilt style, stack them up like bricks. It's super fun to use. Okay, so now I have added a little layer of cardstock, which is still Stampin' Ink and paper. I am going to add my Wink of Stella, which I think is a Stampin' Ink and paper. It's still simple stamping. So we're going to touch all of these flower heads with a little Wink of Stella, and then we're going to add just a little bit of embellishment. So let's see what we're going to add. I brought several things over here and y'all can help me decide. Oh, for one thing, I thought I just might, well, that wouldn't work, never mind. I might add a little piece of this lace doily, and let me show you what I mean. So these are part of our mini catalog, and remember our mini catalog goes all the way through the end of June, so we still have time. Now I could ostensibly do this and pop it right there. So y'all tell me if I should leave that or not, if it's too much. I could also pop it underneath here, but it kind of is in the way of the garden. So tell me, doily or no doily? Kind of like it. Almost looks like a crown for Mother's Day. And then we are going to add a little bit of bling. So I really like the way these champagne rhinestones look with the sweet sorbet because it's kind of peachy. I also like these little wee tiny brushed brass butterflies. Those are really neat. And this is also, everything on here is flat. This is super flat. So that would be another way to add. So Pam likes the doily. I will fasten that. The other thing I thought about, this is actually, this is pale papaya, but I think it's kind of pretty with this because we're using kind of all oranges. So we could add this, but I think doily and ribbon is probably going to be a little bit much, but let's just see. You know, sometimes I think when it comes to this, it's like accessorizing an outfit. You know, you get your outfit on and then you start messing with it. You know, do I want a necklace? Do I want a scarf? Do I want a hat? What other bits and pieces can I add? Do I want a ponytail? Do I want to put something in my hair? Now I could do, let's see. I could do just the bow, but I think the bow is a bit much, to be honest. It softens everything considerably. So I can do the bow, or I can do that. And then let's just see about adding some of these little tiny butterflies. Or I think, honestly, these are tiny. These work, but I almost think that the champagne rhinestones, I like the shine. These are shiny too, but the champagne rhinestones are going to catch the light more, and I think that is going to be my ticket. Oh yeah, see, yeah, diamonds are a girl's best friend. You need a little bit of bling, especially with that gray doily. And you know what? Let's just play with this for a minute. You know, while we have a few extra minutes today. Let's just see what we can do. Let's color that doily. And let's see, come on. I need to get my pick tool out, but I think it's not right handy. I was using it somewhere else and didn't put it back as per usual. Y'all know all my bad habits. Let's see if I put one up there and then one, where'd it go? Haha. Let me grab it, right like that. Oh, I'm thinking that is good. Let's just take this and let's add some ink to it, okay? Calypso Coral is here, and I think let's go Sweet Sorbet. Let's go Sweet Sorbet, and let's just grab a little sponge dauber. So let me just show you where I'm going with this. Now these come in 3 different colors. The gray is what I just kind of had handy. This actually looks pretty good, the cinnamon cider. And then, the blue, that's just kind of, to me, that's a little bit, because I don't have anything else blue in the whole card. So let's take a little bit of cinnamon cider, not cinnamon cider. Let's take a little bit of Sweet Sorbet. Oh, look at that pretty, look what a pretty little stencil I'm making there. And let's just ink this white side up. Now remember, these doilies, I love them. They're available through the end of June, and I think that may be just the ticket. Oh, looky there. Oh, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay. So again, I'm turning that over because I don't want that ink anywhere near me. Now I will say, if I wanted to, let's just see what else we can add here. Let's stick this down, put a little bit of seal there, and then I'm just lifting that up and tucking it right underneath. And that is going to be just perfect. Now I probably would have positioned it a little bit differently if I hadn't had an ink mishap, but you know I did. So I could put this right here. And then we have a real, like a really big emphasis on Happy Mother's Day. So what do y'all think about that little bow right there? There is also the Sweet Sorbet ribbon. This is the new Sweet Sorbet metallic ribbon, and it looks a lot more pink to me. A little bee or a small ladybug. I like that. You know, maybe I have those little bees handy. That would be super cute. I like that idea. This is called Sweet Sorbet, but it looks really pink to me. So I haven't looked to see what the chatter is about this. But see, this to me, it looks really pinky. It doesn't look like it's going to go with this. I don't know. Let's try it and see. Let us just try it and see what we think. It's also a thin ribbon, and I'm kind of trying to cover up where that flower is heading right into my tag there. It looks a little bit wonky to me. So let's see what we can do here. Any other suggestions? Okay, Kathy likes the bow. So let's just see if we want the bow in this pale papaya. I think that's really the one. And that open weave ribbon is what they call that. Is very, very feminine, and I think it's just, yeah, I think that just looks well, I don't know. It's not bad. Not bad, but I think this is better. I think it needs a bigger bow. If we're going to do a bow, let's go all the way. Let's go all the way with the bow. Okay, let me grab a mini glue dot. And then I think we're there. And I've actually got 2 Mother's Day cards ready to go we're actually going to be flying out the day after Mother's Day to visit my son and his wife and our grandchildren in England. So I will be packing Mother's Day things to take to our Leah. Oh, I'm liking that. I like it. You know, what do you think, ladies? What do we think? Happy Mother's Day here. Simple and stepped up. I'm gonna look really quick to see if I can find one of those little bumblebees. Let me see if I can find a little bee. Well, I didn't find the bees, but I will say these little ladybugs, oh my gosh, is that adorable or what? These are from last year. I think they're still in the clearance rack. I kind of like it. What do you think? Is that too much or is that super cute? So I have some people liking my colored doily. So I'll wait just a minute and then I'm going to get ready to download this to YouTube and put together, there's not even an inspiration sheet for you because, I mean, this is 5 1/4 by 4. That's like no measurements needed at all. It's not too much. Pam says it's not too much. I agree. And I think because this is the dark, we use the dark ink on here. But I will say, hey, Marsha, I'm glad you like them both. I will say, you notice that I used the Mossy Meadow on here, and partly because I had it out, but also by putting the Mossy Meadow on the Calypso Coral, it's softer than if you use black. It really is. So, you know, use your dark colored inks on a colored cardstock and you get a little bit of a softer look. So, getting some good kudos from my Facebook peeps. Very nice. And I think what I love about this little weekly foray into simple stamping is it shows what you can do with just a few things, you know. If you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you know, this is a great way to add to your stash of things that you're gathering. Maybe, you know, you want to go a little beyond your Paper Pumpkin. You could use your Paper Pumpkin stamps and add in some of these new in colors. You're going to be getting some kind of a new in color stamp pad in next month in our, let's see, May. But this is a great stamp set for our new stampers. It's also a great stamp set for those of us who just love to stamp. And so this one is in our new catalog. New annual. It's in our spring, and then it carried over into the new annual. And the same with Celebrating You. And what I like about this, I mean, you have all of your spring, holidays because you have Happy Easter, you have Happy Mother's Day, you have Happy Father's Day. Happy Anniversary, believe it or not, there's not a lot of stamp sets that have that. I love this, You're on My Mind and In My Heart. I mean, it's a $24 stamp set. It is a cling rubber stamp set. And so proud of you. There's just wishing you a happily ever after. So you have both inside and outside greetings. I think it's really something that everybody should have in their stash. So yeah, there's simple and stepped up stamping for our Thursday #simple stamping episode. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I will be seeing you on Tuesday, which is, let me think. Let me grab my calendar really quick. I think it's New Catalog Day. Let me just double check my dates here. Because if that's the case, let's see. Tuesday is my next, Tuesday is New Catalog Day. So I will actually be on Tuesday at 4 like usual, but I will be on several times all day long. So I am working on releasing my schedule for Tuesday, but it's New Catalog Day and I'm going to be sharing a lot. And so I will, like I said, I'll release the schedule, and you guys know if you're not available to join me live, I always record this so you can catch the recording and see it later. Hope you have a great weekend, and yeah, do some stamping. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, and God bless.